Man, welcome to the first episode of 2020.
Yep.
And man, I'm telling you what, Richard, it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a little bit crazy
It's going to be a little bit crazy. Actually, we've been hanging out here, getting ready to do this episode. I've actually been having a ton of fun already. So we've got three wonderful people in the around the table here. And hey,
so let's go right to left.
Yeah,
my
tell us
right.
who they are.
On the right, let's introduce ourselves and tell everybody what we got going on.
All right, Aljon Go, product manager for Epiphone, Gibson, Kramer, Steinberger.
woo, welcome,
Awesome.
man.
Happy New Year!
Yeah,
Good to have you.
this guy right over here.
Yes, I'm Zac Childs. I'm the Director of International and Distributor Sales for Truetone Effects and Power Supplies.
Man,
How do
Just
they
so
get
happy to
that?
be
Do they
here.
have that on your door there, like on a nameplate or
Yes,
something?
it is. It's
it 3
it's
feet long?
extended. Yes, it goes across the door, so I can't get in or out. But, but it's important, to be complete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. And this guy,
So I'm Charlton. I'm like everything for the Greg Bennett company. No, we're a tiny company,
take the
man.
trash
So I
out.
wish I could be like, hey, I'm export and import. But the truth is, I'm just like your sort of in-house quarterback. And for the Greg Bennett company, so we're known mostly for Franklin Strap and our little glider capo, which is just smoking it right now.
yeah.
absolutely. Well, this is a great episode because we actually consider everybody here friends.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
we've known each other for at least a little bit of time that we've got to know each other. We can sit around, we can laugh, and we thought, what better way to kind of bring the year in than to talk with some friends about what 2020 might look like.
Yeah, we do a lot around here. Zach and Mo, all you guys know that a lot of times we hang out and have food and have hamburgers and have chili contests. We do all kinds of stuff. So us fellowshipping and hanging out and spending time together seemed natural. So we wanted to kick off the year and have a round table. And man, I'm just stoked about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Although I will say, the next time we do this, we should do tacos.
Yes.
Or something like that. We should have food in here. That'd be wonderful. But so, guys, what's going on?
I don't know, but tacos sound great.
They do.
Especially soft shell, because this is also audio.
Yeah.
You don't want to
That's
hear me
right.
just chunking on a hard shell taco.
Be discreet.
So did anyone grow up with breakfast tacos?
Oh, sure.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Does-
Yeah.
the ones at
Absolutely.
McDonald's, do they count?
Uh,
Because I actually kind of like
I grew
those.
up in South Texas, and
did
and
not.
I'm sure in Colorado and other parts of California,
Yeah,
anywhere
yeah.
where you have a
Arizona.
Hispanic influence.
Yeah.
And I loved breakfast tacos.
Yeah, you got to have
So-
tapatio.
Yeah.
Tapatio, man.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
put it on everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, everything's good. Everybody, I don't know when this is going to be released, but I can tell you that we're gearing up for an excellent 2020.
Yeah.
And, Gibson and Epiphone, we've gone through what our CEO, JC, will say the obstacle course of the past, year or two. And now we're just, we're getting ready to drop the mic. So we're so excited about it.
Yeah. Which we're going to talk a lot about. We're going to probably go around the room and ask individual kind of the same questions. So be prepared for that. And nice blouse you got on, Zach.
Yes. This is a top.
No, that's a top.
This is a top.
You're getting
Okay,
mixed up.
I'm getting a mix up.
Yeah.
Tell us the
Yeah.
difference.
What's the
Okay.
difference?
A blouse normally has a florally print on it and also has a larger collar.
Oh, okay.
So a top is just brightly colored.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's the.
All right.
that's-
I'm learning this.
I know.
Very
I know,
close.
I know it's.
As of the last podcast that
line.
we did, I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I'm learning something new every day.
First off, I wanted to say to Aljon that we are all, cheering for Gibson and Epiphone
Absolutely.
because
Yes,
we have been very excited, especially those of us that kind of live in the neck of the woods that Gibson is in, that resides in. We've been, cheering and hoping for y'all, and so we're very excited about the future of Gibson and Epiphone.
We just give people what they want.
Yeah.
We're just giving people what they want.
And I could jump
good.
in and say, just from visiting over there,
Yeah.
there's a lot of energy in the air. There's a lot of fun, cool stuff going on. There's going to be some cool things that we're actually involved I don't know if we can talk about it, but if not, we'll see that at the NAMM show. Are you shaking your head yes or no?
Oh yeah, you'll see it at the NAMM show.
Okay, all right.
So as far as Truetone, we've had we had an amazing 2019, and 2020 is actually our 25th anniversary.
Is it? Congratulations!
Really?
So yes,
Congratulations.
so we're going to kind of celebrate the year, and we are going to we have our Truetone Lounge series that we've been doing, and we are going to do an interview with Bob Weil, the president and founder of Truetone, to really tell his story.
Oh, cool.
So I made him, I'm not giving him the questions in advance. I'm going to put him on the spot, and I'm going to try to make him cry.
Oh.
It's going to be like Barbara Walters.
Barbara
Walters.
So,
welcome to 2020.
No, so no, I'm actually very, very excited about that because Bob has a great story and a great history with the company. Because here's a guy that literally started, the company with nothing, and he was going to the library and looking, and learning about electronics and such. So I'm really looking forward to being able to tell that story. And then, of course, the OneSpot Pro's been doing great and other things. And we're really looking forward to this being a great year.
Now, do you guys go to the Winter NAMM show?
We don't. So we kind of stopped going to the show a couple of years ago because we found that we were more productive to stay at home.
And why is that?
Yeah, and that's because, we have distribution in a lot of areas, and we have a lot of dealers, and we have a lot of coverage. And because we're not introducing tons of new products every year,
Gotcha.
because we have, products that have a longer life cycle. So power supplies are less sexy than some other things, but they have but they're more necessary, and they have a longer life cycle. So this year, we introduced the Pro Series, back in 2015, and so now we are going to kind of revamp them this year. But so we'll be doing that. But yeah, we decided that instead, so I was a little frustrated when we stopped going to the show because that was where I would see all my international customers.
Yeah,
and I said, how am I supposed to keep up my relationships? And Bob, the owner of Truetone, he said, well, I'd rather you go fly and visit your customers. Mm-hmm. So last year I spent 6 weeks in Europe, and I went and visited different distributors, and I spent time actually going to stores and doing training, and that is so much more productive than having a 30-minute meeting with a distributor. Yeah. That's spending all that money to go out and do the show, which, there are ways in which that really works. But if you can spend the time to actually go to, Target, go to the dealers, train the distributors, train the guys that are selling the stuff. Yeah. That's how you really get product moving. So we spend more time doing that than going to the show. And when we do a show of any kind, it's a consumer show. So we'll do like the Dallas show and things like that because those make sense because of the expenditure that is not as great as what it costs a lot of money to have a booth at the Winter NAMM. It costs a ton of money, and so we can get a better return on our investment by doing consumer shows and then by actually visiting distributors and visiting dealers.
Yeah. And would you ever go back to doing any of the winter shows or the summer shows if you had new product coming out? Is it basically product driven, or is it just the nature of what you guys do?
That's an interesting like, am I supposed to be done now? Every time the bell rings, an angel gets its wings. Time's up.
Because of the modern ways in which we have to disseminate information, it's like now you can do all sorts of product launches, just electronically.
Yeah,
true.
Now there are times with certain products that people really need to put their hands on stuff. There's times where it's like you really want to have, especially with guitars. Again, because of our segment, of the market, because we're dealing with power supplies and pedals, lesser so on the pedals. It's like, we can get that information out. We can do product demos. We can do those things, and that's worked for us. That's not to say that that's going to be the solution for everyone.
Sure.
But we found it to be, we're more productive actually not doing the show.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
On the other side of things, Charlton, you said last year Winter NAMM was killer for you guys.
So believe it or not, and this is a year now later where we did the Nashville show with the same booth. So to sort of tell between the two, it's really interesting because we're obviously selling an aesthetic accessory. There's a different sort of emotion that goes into it. And the nature of our product creates these two totally different dichotomies on the two shows. We write more business at the Nashville show. I feel like, we're a gigantic booth for what we are in a smaller room. Yeah. And there's, in terms of ratio of artists and friends of the setup guy at, John's House of Music, in terms of ratio, there's a lot more buyers, a lot more blue badges there. So people running stores and buying inventory. So in terms of Nashville, so we actually tend to write more business in Nashville. Anaheim is, for us at least, it's a media event. It's our Instagram and our Facebook has turned into one of the most effective drivers of, I guess you would say, just sort of brand followers. There's Nike guys and there's Adidas guys, and then and so we've sort of turned something that's looked at as a commodity in the industry into an actual brand that people say, well, I've got 12 guitars, all of them with a Franklin. And our artist base is just so diverse and so amazing, and they're all sort of hustling on their own. They're not with big labels. That's who we're targeting. It's not these gigantic tours that help us out. It's Tiana O'Hara with 250,000 followers on Instagram. That's a session player for like 12 people in a year. But she's posting these videos online and killing it, and she's out in LA along with hundreds of others we're working with. So the Anaheim show is more of, for us, the media, but also all of our reps show up. For them to have, being able to sit down and have a dinner with one of your reps, it can't be underestimated. I mean, just face to face. And our guys are so great. They'll hear me talk about the product and just be writing down these lines I've got, and they're just trying to soak it in. And you only get that personal. I mean, how can you really do that over the phone to that extent? Not really. So, distribution, our imports, obvious, our export. The guys coming from overseas, we get to meet them and see them and talk about how to talk about the brand and how to buy for it. Because a lot of people are really just so confused as to how to buy straps in general, because it's such a sort of subjective thing, So and so it's I sit back, and yes, of course, I have my designs that I like and things that I don't like. But there are some that I don't like that if we didn't make, we'd go bankrupt because they're so popular. So what do I know? So I get to sit back and, like all of us here, get to see how the whole market reacts to our line as to, a zip code somewhere. So that, one-on-one, talking about inventory control, all that, you just can't beat that out in Anaheim. Mm-hmm. And then, and like I said, Nashville, strangely enough, we actually write more business, even though there's far less people.
Well, your booth is great. I think their booth, the strategy that you have, I don't know who came up with that.
So that was sort of by accident, and then now it's turned into our brand. Like, it's just, you can't divorce it from the actual line now. I mean, it's, Franklin, the soft strap is just as, branded as what the booth looks like now. And this year in Anaheim is 20 feet longer. So now we're going to have a little spot for our artists. To come in and play. We're going to have Roland was just so sweet to give us some stuff, a combo amp and a stand for it to use and so forth. Extra. So it's going to be 80 feet long, but 5 feet in depth.
80 feet long. So you'll be the first booth ever to be in more than one exhibit hall.
We were 60 last. Yeah, I mean, right? Well, it's
They
funny
have to take an Uber to go from one end to the other end.
Yeah, where's my golf cart?
It takes a while to walk past. Like, it's so long, I couldn't do one of those panorama,
really.
shots. There's really, when you think of it in hindsight, it's like there's no other way to show guitar strap. So our entire booth is not big structural beams; it's the fixtures that we send to our dealers. So when you walk into the booth, first of all, we're on an aisle, so you just reach out 5 feet and there's the product.
Yeah,
you're not digging through 10 feet of depth and then going through this theme park of a maze. Because of the nature of our product, it's just right there. You can touch it, you can smell it. Which I'm totally immune, unfortunately. I've been around leather for so long that I literally can't smell it. But I'm dead serious. Yeah, I went into a coat shop in like a mall like a while back, and just everybody was like, "Wow, the smell!" And I was like, "Nothing."
It's just like the guy that's been working in a paint booth.
Yeah. It's just so fun. But
or a cattle farm.
Yeah.
Right?
It smells great.
Tannery.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
My former life, I worked at the Whiteout factory.
Yeah.
Does it show? Just saying.
Oh my God!
Now you guys won an award last year, didn't you?
We got Rookie of the Year in our 20th year, but no, we got it was companies to look out for or something like that for 2019, and it was like, I mean, we've been 30 years.
Yeah, look out, here they come.
30 years on the glider, 20 years on the straps, and I've been with
And you're
Greg
the new
for
kids
12.
on the block, you know.
Yeah, well, what it is, guys, I think everyone here can sympathize with this greatly. You're probably going through the same thing. I think in hindsight, looking back in the last decade, and we've seen a death and then rebirth of an industry almost. And in terms, that's what I'm going through personally. I know a lot of old ways that we just cut out, new ways we adopted, and then after the cycle is over, there's this optimism, there's a great industry, and now I'm going full circle. We're like coming back and I'm going back on I've been home for 5 years. And I'm going back on the road this year. Like, wow. It's been years since I used to, 250 days a year on the road. So we're doing a little bit of that now, which is interesting. So it's this mixture of both worlds that we're just trying to find where we sit. And I think we finally found that awesome formula. And anyways, to come full circle, doing both shows is a part of that. We went 5-6 years without doing any trade show.
Yeah.
It's to send all those people and. I mean, like Zac said, it is so costly, and there's like this rock star treatment you could do to your best dealers if you're trying to get a 6-store chain in Wisconsin, and you fly them down to Nashville, spot them up for a Nashville vacation, and take them out to dinner every day, and really give them the rock star treatment, roll out the red carpet. You might profit way more on that relationship than the $30,000 you spent at NAMM to take Instagram shots, you know, and so targeting is resonated a lot there. Anyway, but I'm so excited. We're gonna have a lot of. If anyone's out there, booth 6100 next week, and a lot of awesome artists are gonna come by, and I'm really looking forward to the trip.
I like coming out there because you always have a nice jacket on. You always look good. I bet it makes your mom proud.
Well, I'm a sweater, so I might back down a little bit on that.
Just don't wear a sweater.
Well, no, I usually do the Irish vest, big wool vest. And in California, that's not the smartest. Definitely not smart in June in Nashville.
No.
Yeah.
Which I learned the hard way, and then just continue learning it.
Well, if you ever needed a blouse or a top, I know
exactly who to call, or at least the lingo to tell it all.
Blouses breathe a little bit more.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I got my pocket watch. Gotta bring that.
Yeah,
there you go. Nice.
So, did everybody think that 2019 was an up year? Aljon, obviously, 2019 was an up year.
Absolutely.
But Charlton, you were talking about how things have been changing. In fact, on this show, Richard and I have tried to translate that, things are changing. Things change faster, and music stores and business owners need to keep up with it. They at least have to make an effort. Yeah. So Did you guys feel like 2019 was a year that you kept up and you're moving forward?
Absolutely. Yeah, 2019 was a great year. The only, kind of downer is just the tariff. The tariff has affected electronics and power supplies, and so we're eagerly awaiting that to be rectified or for them to figure that out. So, but overall, 2019 was another fantastic year, and we're grateful for all our dealers and distributors, and we've tried to really double down on customer service and always making sure that we always have a person answering the phone and coming up on emails, and I think it pays off because then one of my I watch the gear page and I kind of search our name. So I'll put in Truetone and do searches. And so now it's gotten to the point to where if somebody complains about having a problem with our product, someone immediately says, "Oh, you just need to contact them. They have amazing customer service." It's like we don't even have to jump in. Before we have the chance to jump in, someone's saying, "Oh, here's their phone number," or "Here's the email to to support." Yeah, and it's like, wow, because the gear page is kind of it's more of a cork sniffer. I mean it's a great page, but I mean it's like when those guys started supporting us and recommending us, I mean that was a huge deal.
Yeah, so, interesting.
Yeah, it's important to have that kind of contact with not only your fans, your consumers, your dealers. I think we all agree that face to face, nothing will ever replace face-to-face contact with people.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we all want that connection with people. We want to feel like we're part of the tribe. We want that community feel, that vibe that we have right here at this table is the same vibe we want to put out there. And the fact that you are interacting, we're all interacting with our fans to a point where I'll go on Facebook, I'll look at the Epiphone group, I'll look at the Gibson group, and if they have an issue, I will reach out to people, and I have no qualms with just saying, by the way, we can help you.
Yeah.
DM me.
Yeah.
I don't leave people hanging, and I'll go on our website and say, well, this is that, but, I wonder why this guitar didn't come with a strap, that's came with a strap before, case candy. And I'll say, well, we'll keep that in mind for the next time, and they'll be surprised that I'm actually interacting with people and giving them customer support.
Yeah.
And I think that stuff cannot be underestimated. Those little touches really help connect people with the brand, build brand loyalty, and it just makes the brand more human. And I think that's something that we can't understate. It's just really important to have that connection with the brand and people.
Yeah, there's a tendency to, everything has to be quantified, and there's metrics and all these things, and that's something you can't. But it makes a huge difference. You have to take good care of the customers. You have to keep up those relationships.
Yeah.
So you have to have face-to-face.
What a cool way, though, that just even a few years ago, nobody would have ever thought about how to deliver customer service than to listen to other people interacting on social media. So that now you can kind of interject and kind of get involved, and now the manufacturer, the brand is actually getting involved. Man, what a cool thing that maybe didn't happen years ago. So
I actually call it. We have a name for that in the office. We call it. There's a line that I always say, and it's not a line. I truly believe it and stand behind it. So I say it a lot. When people call in, my direct line is on the homepage at franklinstrap.com. And for a strap brand, we get 2,000 hits a day on a website, which isn't, it's not the Gibsons of the world, but I mean, it's a lot for people shopping straps. And my phone number is right there, and I say it every time. People are stunned. They call in and we just talk about gear.
yeah,
Some, you know what I mean? And I say this all the time. I say, well, we pride ourselves by not being a faceless manufacturer, because for years that's what the reps were for. That's what some customer service was for. And I think you are seeing that now. You see, Scott, and here's a guy winding strings and doing personal videos for his customer base. I mean, that just
Tell everybody who Scott is.
Scott who?
Yeah.
Who's Scott?
Scott from Stringjoy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Scott, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's God.
It's just a different time. I feel like for years that was why those reps existed, was because the manufacturer guys weren't good with people, and I think also on the manufacturing side, it's attracting different employees to that side of the supply chain. If that makes sense, you know what I mean.
But that's a change in 2020, is it not?
I
mean, it
believe
really
that
is a change in
wholeheartedly.
2020 because we would always put, old guard was brand before person, and now you have to have that kind of connection to people, reaching out via social media. And I think people had always been afraid of putting a face to the brand because you're not the face, but you're a face.
You can screw it up easily.
You can screw it up, but you have, the people that are in charge of the brand, the guardians of the brand, the stewards of the brand need to understand that you have people that are savvy or trusted people or train them up to be savvy enough to interact with people at trade shows and using social media to interact with them, to work on your company's behalf. To work and say, like, look, Aljon's a cool dude, or Zac's a cool dude. We're, Scott from Screen Joy's a cool dude.
Yeah, that's right.
So, that we trust them with their best judgment moving forward, and really say, we trust you with the brand. And then it's like, well, what if Aljon leaves and does this? I'm like, well, then, that's what happens. Yeah. But then someone else will be there to take its place, because we can't afford to, as the industry moves forward, to be a faceless brand.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yes. Not now.
Not now.
Yeah.
People can see it a mile away. Truetone's successful because you've cultivated a really cool YouTube channel where you sit down and you have face-to-faces with artists and you talk and interact with people, and same with Franklin and the rest of us that do our thing. I remember when Gibson was the first really brand to put out a YouTube channel, and we were there back in like 2006, and going to internet conventions and all kinds of stuff. And had we kept that momentum going, who knows where we could be?
Yeah.
And I think I can say it was a little bit of a misstep to not have those kind of talk shows and have that kind of interactive activity. And as you said, in that dark era, there were some years that we stopped. People were afraid of change. We should embrace it. This is what this podcast and this video show is doing. That's what we all do. We should embrace the new way of interacting and taking people in and welcoming them to the tribe. Because let's face it, if we don't take charge, like Kevin Philbin did, I think, said from Hercules a couple of weeks ago on your show, if we don't take that as ownership, the MI industry will lose. We have to be able to grow organically and showing people that we care. And if we show people that we care, then only good things can become of it. So I think this is all part of that, and how that works into 2020. It's that embracing of the new way.
And can I just say, you spot on. And one thing I learned quickly over the last 3 years, I've been working hard to turn it around. But for the manufacturers listening to this, or the guys running smaller businesses that are sort of the captain of their own ship, and they're repairing guitars, and they're also running media or whatever, and they're listening to this, just know these days, if you're not the one branding yourself, if you're not the one with the message, one will be created for you.
I agree with you.
And it will happen immediately. Do you know how long it took for me to clean up Amazon? We just didn't do anything. We held no maps. We held no nothing. We did nothing. And then about 3 years ago, I'm going through Amazon, and there's pictures from 10 years ago up there, and dealers, and not just dealers, it was distributors. It's not their fault. They got 10,000 lines that they're carrying, but these people that'll go in and cannibalize things with a big megaphone, like the eBays and Amazons and even Google Shopping and Reverb.
Yeah.
If you're not in control of the way your brand looks, other people will do it, and God bless them, but they don't care as much as you do.
Nope.
They don't. And to go back, it took me at least 18 months to clean up the internet to where all the images were uniform, the descriptions were accurate, the SKUs were accurate, Discontinued pieces weren't being pushed and advertised. It took so long because we just did nothing for so long. We just assumed it was going to just, order itself naturally. So, yeah, if you're especially a small manufacturer, just know, like what Aljon brilliantly said, you have to take control and you have to be the face of your operation the best you can, or hire someone to be. Mm-hmm. Hire someone that's good at that if you don't feel comfortable doing that. And consistency is key. The way the internet works just treats people differently. If you're posting one video a month, no one will ever find you, even if you have every great keyword and audience targeting in the back end all day long. As long as you're pushing out a message and consistently, it doesn't have to be every day, it doesn't have to be every 3 days, but if it's noon on a Sunday, make sure next Sunday at noon you're pushing some other message out, and you have to hammer that constantly and sort of be the master of your own fate.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Some good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, Aljon, you talking about trust. I mean, it's because we can get to where we put too much reliance on the brand, where we think just because we have this product, we're the best, everyone's going to come crawling to us. Even if we're back ordered on something, it doesn't matter. People are going to wait. People are going to be waiting in line. It's like, no, they're not.
Right.
This is not the day and age where there were only a few good manufacturers. Now it's like there's a lot of good options. There's a lot of good options for power supplies, for guitars.
Sure. Do you see the right side of the room at the Nashville NAMM show? There is no big company there. Every single one of them are 5-foot booths, and they're killing it. Yeah. Do not sleep on these people. It is huge, and I couldn't be more excited about it, really. I love seeing that. I love
or
three guys.
Foot.
I love, I mean, I love seeing 5 guys soldering in the back somewhere and just pushing out thousands of units. That's just amazing.
Charlton's like, oh, look at your little 5-foot booth. That's so cute. No.
Oh, trust me, some of those guys have much bigger, but they have bigger companies than we do.
It's still fun though.
Yeah.
I mean, I find that NAMM and dealer visits and product training is what I live for.
Absolutely.
I think it's so cool to go out and evangelize about a brand. I think I mentioned
evangelize.
Evangelize.
That's right.
Evangelize.
Yeah.
Speak the truth.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Because you're creating disciples, and so you're creating other people to evangelize.
And that's what you did, right? You mentioned the fact that in those different forums, gear pages, that people will evangelize and say, oh, look, by the way, Truetone's got the best customer service, that's what you want. You want to bring those disciples in.
Exactly.
And when trolls come around and they'll say they'll poo-poo this and that, those other people will be like, hey, by the way, I think you need to check this out, or I think that's kind of an unfair statement. Maybe you haven't tried this. We don't have to defend it. I mean, it's great, but you have those.
That's my favorite part of the day, by the way.
It is.
Every morning going through my Facebook ads and looking at the comment threads. Oh, it's amazing. It's so good. It is. The fights that come up.
Really?
Oh, my God, it's great.
It's fun. It's fun to sit back, but then we foster those brand ambassadors. Everybody's a brand ambassador, and I think it's still cool. And to this day, whether I go to Europe and we do training, or we go to a trade show or a consumer event like Dallas Guitar Show, whatever it is, it's just great to interact, to have that feeling of face to face, and by all of us embracing it. It's just so much fun, and it's just personally, it's just fun for me. I love NAMM, even though it's a lot of work, and we're literally always getting ready to, this is the push. These are our tentpole events. We have NAMM, and then Summer NAMM, and then NAMM, and then Summer NAMM. It's just always a constant churning of these events, but it is something to look forward to. Yeah. It's like I told our team, this is so funny. I said, we're going to put on the Avengers. This is our mega blockbuster. I always say we're going to have the best sizzle reel. We're going to put out this teaser campaign, and then we're going to drop the mic, and it's going to be Endgame. All the Avengers will come to play. Everyone will see their favorite superheroes, and I'm talking about the guitars, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to see Captain America and Iron Man and Black Panther, and they're all going to play in this big sandbox, and then everybody's going to want to come see the blockbuster. And that is exactly what our team is going to execute. And I'm so excited about it. But that's what gets me up in the morning. That's what makes me grab for that first cup of Joe in the morning, is the fact that we are going to be putting on our premiere. And it's going to be really great.
It's exciting.
And I get excited when I go see these dealers and the booths at NAMM and what they have in store, because, I haven't had a chance to walk NAMM in a while. And I have to force myself on Sunday to break away from the booth and leave dealer meetings, or try to schedule time to walk the booth, because that's exciting, to walk the show and see everyone's booth, and to do the whole like, hey, look, it's great to see you, it's the family reunion time, and everybody gets to hang and give each other a pat in the back and a big hug, and see all the new stuff. Because at heart, I'm still that 12-year-old kid on a Saturday afternoon at the mom and pop guitar store over at, Shiloh Music down the street.
Yeah.
Because that's fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
It still is fun. And I'm never going to lose sight of that. I still get excited about it. Like a kid on Christmas morning opening up my first guitar. That's what I want.
The Hedges run a great shop over there, by the way.
Yeah, they do. They run a great shop.
Well, somebody Skype in with Zach over here where we're at NAMM so he doesn't feel left out. So, because it sounds like we're going to have a great time while we're there.
Yeah, everyone else can have a great time. Yeah, just put me on a screen and I can keep saying, hey, are you supposed to have a beer at 5 o'clock?
Anyways, but
always come to the show anyway. You don't have to show at the booth, but just have fun. But but it is great. I mean, great that you're at a point where you're visiting those dealers and finding that ROI, that return,
Absolutely,
and visiting people, because that's what you still need to do. We're going to do this because it is a big media event for us. It is a media event for us, but still, we're going to maintain those dealership connections and having those meetings throughout the day and having dinner with dealers, because that is part of it, and it's part of the fun, and it's part of, once again, just nurturing that relationship. It's still very important.
Some of my most profitable moments were at the bar top at the Hilton, not on the show floor.
Yeah.
So it's...
Isn't that where the real business is done anyway?
that's right.
It's over at the bar after the show, but that's where that's where we have fun, and I know that's where a lot of our business happens, at those really cool business meetings.
At the end of the day, we're not washer and dryer set salesmen. We are in the music business. We're all musicians. So, I mean, we want the social. I mean, by nature, everyone in the industry wants the social side. Much more so than others, I would say, other industries, I would say.
Aljon, let's talk about headquarters.
Let's talk about
headquarters. You guys got a new headquarters.
Yeah,
we do.
I know we're talking about NAMM. Everybody's excited, but I'm excited to hear about the headquarters.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you guys to come out and see it.
We would love to see
Well,
it.
let's talk about
come
it.
by anytime. We're at Cummins Station now, which is right behind the Union Station Hotel here in Nashville. It was a converted train station, and it's great. We're up on the 4th floor. Nice, shiny, new, clean, fresh start, and the vibe is palpable. You walk in, people are excited to be there. I'm excited to go into work with R&D. We've got the different brand, luthiers and R&D specialists that are all there. So the Epiphone team is with the custom shop team, with the Gibson USA team, and the acoustic team, and we're all there just kind of, here we go with another Marvel reference. Are you ready?
Yep.
It's like
We're
Stan Lee's
ready.
bullpen. So you have Steve Ditko, and you've got, all the great artists and everything from Marvel and the writers, and you got Stan Lee. And that's what we have. We've got JC, we've got Cesar, we've got the rest of us in the bullpen, and we're cooking up ideas on new guitars and really cool ideas for straps and accessories too on our end, and strings and whatever else we're concocting from Gibson's, vault. We're doing a bunch of really cool things. So you're going to see that synergy. You're going to see that excitement, and nothing like a fresh coat of paint in a new building.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which is great. So you're all invited to come and check it out, and just hit me up, and we'll give you a little tour.
Now, don't you guys have a showroom down there with product down there?
We
and all
will be.
kinds of-
We will be.
not yet, yeah.
More to come
Okay.
on that. I know JC has alluded to the fact that we will be having a showroom, so more to come on that. But step by step, we got everybody moved in. Everyone's great. We've got these new great desks that rise and lower, so I don't have to sit at my desk all day. I can actually stand up, and do some stuff, and I get my steps in. Going up and down 4 flights of stairs if I need to. But it's a really good place to be in the heart of Music City, which is a great place to be. And it's a lot of fun. Plus, the food options are not bad.
Yeah.
That's a very cool location.
It is a cool location for sure.
Right by the Gulch, kind of right there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun, and I think everyone on staff feels that energy because we've been in that older office space for so long, and now we're in a really nice place that we're proud to call home.
Yeah.
So it's great.
And it'll be an easy walk down to Summer NAMM. My goodness.
It'll be the easiest walk down to Summer NAMM.
Can I park at your place?
We'll talk after this.
For a small fee.
For a 20-foot Franklin strap to go around this big bad boy. You mentioned that in the booth, and I bit my tongue and said, it's a long booth, and I was thinking, man, what you need is a Big Daddy strap for this boy right here. This big boy likes to eat.
we need to call it the Big Daddy or something.
Big Daddy.
Like that.
Exactly right.
There
There you go. That idea is for free. So it's all good. But yeah, the stuff is fun. I mean, yeah. So you're all invited, and definitely Summer NAMM will be a great time for us to have a catch up and get everybody into the new building.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question, and I could be wrong, but were you guys wanting to do a podcast or wanting to do some kind of media stuff with Gibson and Epiphone? Or,
I think, yeah, at some point.
I just feel like you guys need to be doing this, man.
Well, funny you mention this. We are doing Gibson TV.
Well, now tell us, what is that?
We are launching that. Great programming. You're going to see it on YouTube. And I think it's live right now. So
Is it really?
Yeah, you're going to see a bunch of great programming from us.
Smart.
Produced here in Nashville as well as in LA. And Mark Agnesi is doing a lot of really great stuff with our team and sitting down and doing like these mini documentaries, and all kinds of great shows are going to be spawning from that. So, whether or not the podcast or the internet radio thing, happens, I think this will be the first in that kind of new programming that we have set for fans of music in general. You just don't have to be a guitar fan or a Gibson fan or an Epiphone fan. You just have to be a fan of music.
Yeah.
Because as our CEO says, we want that share of sound. And wherever there's music, there's Gibson, there's Epiphone.
So what can we do to get you to do more? Because we're all fans of you.
Oh.
So we need you to do more, too.
You know what? I would love to do more. And I think as the company grows and develops their online strategy, I am so into supporting whatever that strategy will be.
Well, maybe this is for 2020.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
All
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, in the hopper that's brewing. And I think it's just really important that whatever you do as a brand, as a store, as a manufacturer, that you just put it out there.
Yeah.
And if you send positivity out there in the world, you'll get it back.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're just going to get
Good
it
stuff.
back.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously 2020, you guys might have some good news, maybe rolling out some new products or something in 2020. So it's going to be a good year for that as well.
It's going to be a great year, it's going to be a great year for Epiphone and Kramer and you guys here helping us along. It's just going to be amazing. I can't wait for everyone to take a look at it. And when it's all said and done, when the dust settles a bit, then we can regroup and say, look at what we did. This is great.
Now, back to NAMM, how many guitars are you guys going to take?
Too many. Too many.
There was a lot there last year.
Yeah.
It was the best Les Paul collection I ever saw in my life.
It really was. And if you like that, you're going to love this.
Oh, I'm going to love this.
Yeah. I mean, all I can say is our teams, and I can't stress this enough, our teams and our manufacturing, God bless them, because, they are amazing. And they're putting together, it's literally the Miracle Workers workshop. You're going to see so many great things at NAMM, and I'm so proud and honored to be a part of it in a little way, to just put it out there and have people take a look and see what these artisans have done.
Awesome.
This is the work of human beings, And I'm just stoked.
Wow.
I'm stoked about
We
it.
got to get this episode out before we go to NAMM.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I'm getting excited. I'm ready
get
to
it out
get it
before
out right
NAMM.
now.
This is your appetizer, then you'll have the main
Yeah, there you
course.
go.
I just want Aljon to get more specific and give us like just one like bit. Like this is one new thing we're coming out with. or
He's like
something.
hanging
But
it over our
he's hanging it
head.
right
I was
over
not
such a
asking for
tease.
specific, just in case
Yeah.
he didn't want to, but
Yeah, I
Zach's
know.
asking for
I know.
specifics.
I know. I want specifics. But
Well,
anyway,
I'll
Okay,
sign a non-disclosure.
Yeah.
Well, great save, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll just put it. I'll just put it to you like this. You know, there's nothing like a handcrafted instrument.
Absolutely.
I'll just put it out there.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, and
That's
it couldn't hold more true than for all of our brands. I'll leave it at that.
All right.
All right.
We'll have to come back and visit.
I
this.
know, man. My goodness. Or maybe a quick little update at NAMM or something.
Yeah, there you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
quick
We'll have
little
to
update
we'll
at
have to
NAMM.
do a podcast from NAMM at the Gibson booth.
Yeah.
To
Please
kind
do.
of update.
Actually,
we'll do that.
That's
We'll
a great
do that.
idea. We
Be
can
my
make
guest.
decisions that quick, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
good.
We just made it.
We just made it.
Charlton,
guest.
how many straps are you guys going to have out there? I know it's a silly question.
80 feet
it's
worth?
3 of everything, and then a miscellaneous pile that we give out to the artists that are playing during the week, throughout the week. So something like 1,500, maybe 2,000.
Wow. So if you're missing one, and give one to Big Daddy Weave
Yeah,
over
Big
here.
Daddy was over here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
No.
strap.
No, hey, man, the soft strap's great, man.
Well,
Yeah, there you
a lot of the pedal guys come over because they have, they've got
Zach's including you won't even be there.
Well,
the
and-
metal guys.
like we're close friends with the Copper Sound people too, and a lot of
Good
the small
guys.
the smaller builders, and they have displays where there's a pedal board set up, and you're standing there, and they don't bring a strap. And at the I can't tell you how often guys will just run into the booth and think, "Oh my God, we did all of this," and I just, for some reason, just didn't even think about bringing a strap. And I was like, "Yeah,
Really?
because we think about that for you."
That's
you
right.
See. So we've got we have
That's
this
right.
miscellaneous pile that is literally just for the demoing of other booths.
That's what you do.
We've
right?
done that before.
We've all done it.
We've all done that.
We've
all-
had a break in case of glass emergency, kind of
Yes.
situation. We always have the secret stash for the artist, whether it's guitars, I'm sure pedal boards, power supplies, straps, capos, what have you, because they always walk. I can't tell you. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting ready to go on stage and I need a guitar and I need a capo or something. And
Right.
now I'm just going to say, hey, just go over there.
That's
Franklin,
what
nice
it's
strap.
for. I've actually gotten some of the best artist relationships I have that way.
Yeah.
Just some guy, that I wasn't aware of beforehand, and he'd come over. He's like, "Hey, I'm in this acoustic guitar booth over here, demoing all day. Totally forgot a strap." I was like, "Okay, great." Something I've seen that Scott do at a NAMM show that's sort of like this, but for
From String Joy.
From String Joy.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. He had this thing set up where it was all of the guitar every single day. At the end of the day, the manufacturers can bring the demo guitars over, and he'll restring them and give them a fresh set, and in return just have a little String Joy tag around one of the tuners.
Okay, yeah.
And so
Great.
by the end of the week, it was amazing. By the end of the week, you literally, every single guitar in the whole showroom had a little String Joy thing on it. And I'm just like, wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's
I mean,
brilliant.
Brilliant.
That's a lot of string swaps, but worth it. So
Great
there's-
marketing.
It's and wonderful networking.
It
Some
is.
of my best, most profitable marketing strategies has been giving away someone else's product.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my favorite parts about the gig is just finding my me in other companies and just creating a relationship that way. And that is just, I can't tell you how much fun that is.
Actually, talking with Cosby from NAMM, we've interviewed her a couple times on here. She actually, if she's going to sum up the NAMM experience in one word, it's relationships.
Yeah.
So
That's the whole industry. Yeah, it's just relationships. Every great dealer I have a personal understanding. I mean, I can tell you, kids' names and what they did beforehand, and wives and the rest of it. And that is that's why we're so easily accessible because we genuinely, personally like that part of the job. So yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, very cool. Zach, 2020, are you guys rolling something new out?
Well, again, we are going to introduce later in the year new iterations of the OneSpot Pros. So there will, they've been out for a couple of years now, and you roll out a line and you learn a lot from it because you do R&D and you do some testing with artists and things like that. But still, and then you find out also. The market is always changing, and sometimes you find out features that were good at that point they change because the pedals that are being manufactured are changing all the time, and so so sometimes you're removing certain features and you're adding others. You're putting more milliamps or whatever because all of a sudden you have all these pedals that are wanting. You have pedals that are drawing almost 1,000 milliamps now.
Yeah,
dangerous trying.
It's like. And so, exactly. Otherwise you have
learn
to use,
that the hard way.
Yes, you have to use their standalone power supply. So it's okay. It's making that because the whole point, whatever you're there to solve the customer's problem.
Yeah,
and that's what so that's what we're doing. So we're taking into account the last couple of years and how the market has changed. Because we're in Nashville. And because we have guys coming in, to our shop, a lot of times we'll, help them put their pedal board together.
Yeah.
We'll have them come in, and so we're seeing what they're using. We're getting phone calls and emails from them saying, "Hey, I just got this new blank, and how do I power that?" So that's how we're, getting information about how we're going to, move forward with the line. And so it's been great feedback. So that's that's kind of the
feedback has
biggest.
never been better.
Right.
The DMs in my Instagram have literally changed the way we produce product.
Yeah.
Like straight from the horse's mouth. You know, I love the dealers. It's not that. It's that how often does a consumer take the extra step to complain to the dealer, and then you have to hope the dealer then relays that to you.
Right.
And you're sort of cutting that so that, half of your information is getting lost somewhere in the ether. And now we have this pulse on everyone using our stuff. And, man, it's just a good time.
Yeah.
It is. To do this.
The session guys here in town and the bigger road guys and the guys with the big YouTube followings and stuff like that, those are the influencers. I even hate that term.
Yeah.
But it's, when you're dealing with
he
those.
Rolls his eyes.
As I roll part of it's just.
As he's a huge influencer.
No. So, but getting in with those guys and not, and not whining and dining them, but just treating them right and taking care of them. You're learning about what they're trying out and what they're using, and that in turn is what other people are going to start buying because they put it on their board. Because that's what pictures get the most views. Most of them, it's gear pictures, it's pedal board pictures.
It is.
I mean, it's ridiculous when you look at it's like anytime you post a pedal board picture, it's going to get a gazillion views.
Love it.
Yeah.
I do it myself. I can't help it.
Yeah.
And I can give ups to Truetone because Zach and Bob had, when I was doing product training, I used to have a small pedal board. So I had a OneSpot and I had, a couple Truetone pedals on there, and I used it for training, when I'd go out and do stuff. And that was my flight board. Just everything was right there. All the Truetone stuff was right there, and that was awesome. And the first world's largest pedal board, not once but twice, back 10 years ago before it was a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That powered all of our stuff. So, I mean, I'm still a OneSpot user to this day.
I am too.
Yeah.
I've got two of them. I still use the Jekyll and Hyde and the V2s every day. Actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. My kids, thank you.
Right. I mean, it's good stuff. And like I said, I mean, and it's that relationship, Zach and I have known each other for a long time back before I worked for Gibson. Yeah. And then same goes for Bob too, which, by the way, a scholar and a saint.
He is.
Love Bob. Love the family. So good.
Yeah.
But, and once again, our relationship too, prior to you mentioning the fact that we were doing stuff in music together way before.
It's a great town, isn't it?
It's a great town. We all know each other.
It's a small world.
But it is a small world, right? But that's how we all continue to grow and evolve our relationships with each other and build upon it. So I love it.
Can I ask Zach a question? For this year, what's happened in the last year and then coming up, I'm curious to see a pedal, like analog and digital pedal, tangible pedal company's perspective on this. I personally think one of the most innovative thing that's happened in the guitar gear side of the MI business, by far one of the most innovative, I think, is this for decades, it's not decades, but for 20 years, there's been a massive debate. Analog, digital will never touch analog. It'll just never be the same. The shaking in the rib cage you get on a diamond through a full stack will just never be replaced. I got to tell you, man, I bought Neural. Neural came out. Neural is a wonderful business. I think they're based out of the UK or Australia, and they're doing with Plini, with Tosin Abasi, and with the Periphery guys. They've done these cab IR simulation softwares that don't cost a lot, and I am a tone snob when it comes to this. I didn't even want to jump on board with the Kemper and the Axe Effects, but I got this Neural VST and sold my boogie.
Whoa!
I know.
You sold your boogie?
Yeah.
Dang it! I would have bought that.
Well, I run a studio, and I record daily. I've got another business that's that, but and it has changed everything. No mic noise. A lot of times I'll run your pedals before the interface or before my pre-mic and then the interface, but this did not exist. This was never a problem for pedal companies. And is this a conversation in the Truetone world?
As far as getting into that side of the digital
or just
realm,
competing with it, or having the other side, like when you see all these people going that route, you can go on an international tour with no gear or with a backpack,
right? It's a great thing. I mean, that's a great thing. People are still. They're still using pedals in front of these,
right?
So
exactly.
So it's not like this is something. Now, I mean, it could replace that, and again, and that's another reason why you have to be kind of watching what's going on in the market. But you have a lot of guys are overwhelmed by these digital interfaces.
Absolutely.
So I think one of the smart things that Strymon did was they came out with the Iridium, which is it's all digital, but it doesn't have any type of readout, and it just has knobs on there, and that's a good way of addressing that for the guys that are more overwhelmed and that don't want to get in there, because a lot of guys like to just turn a knob.
I was going to say the tangible aspect of a product. I don't think will ever be overtaken. I don't think that's not exactly what I'm saying.
So but as far as I've been a writer for Vintage Guitar Magazine since 2004. And and I love vintage gear. I own a 1959 Harvard Fender amp, and old Tweeds and a couple vintage deluxes, blackface amps and things like that, an old '67 Telly. I like those, but I rarely take those out anymore because they're fragile.
Yeah.
And because now so many times if I gig anymore, it's in-ear monitors.
Right.
And it's like I don't get to really enjoy the amp, because before I was hearing the amp, and we were using, wedges also, which the wedges would have, vocals and, some other instruments in it. But used to, you could hear the physical sound of your amp. Right. And now when it's getting mic'd up and you're putting it in those little in-ears, then it's like, I think, I think you're almost better off, using just a digital interface at times.
So I have to say, I think I've told a few dealers this, and we'll move on. Sorry. Thanks for letting me. But I think this is actually relevant. I think one thing that the dealer base, I think one thing in 2020 that small dealers are more than capable of doing, and that I've literally not seen it done once. But when you go into a Best Buy and they're selling PS4 games and Xboxes, there's a station right there where you can go up and literally play a demo of the game. There's a physical thing where you sit there and play it. Why doesn't every single dealer have a laptop with a Pro Tools and have some of these VSTs and maybe even do lessons on operating DAWs? The growth of the at-home recording market is the fastest growing side of the industry by far.
It's not expensive
It's not
anymore.
even close. It's not even close. I mean, you refresh the Craigslist page, and there's in Nashville every 10 minutes there's another 5 pages of liquidating gear coming out of studios. And but I think the dealers, for very little amount of money, they can invest into a DAW, sell lessons on how to operate the DAW, and how to record yourself, and have a big screen right there where you can see it. They can even sell some of these VSTs through an interface and have your headphones on and plug in and play. And which Gibson actually did in the '90s with the head jammer that they had, which I thought was revolutionary at the time.
Yeah.
And so why a lot of dealers haven't jumped on board with that and I think is just a big missed opportunity, because we were talking before we started recording, we need to create a place that people want to go. There's a reason why AMC is killing it and Carmike didn't. And to have these physical places to where you can learn, not just having product shoved down your throat, but you can learn and get an emotional attraction with this physical place. I think that's the future in brick and mortar retail.
Yeah, I was. We share Aljon and I, Gibson and Truetone share a distributor in Canada, Yorkville.
That's right.
And Yorkville is a fantastic company to work with.
Yep.
And I was visiting them late last year, and I was at their offices, and then we were visiting a bunch of dealers, and we visited the most amazing retail shop I've ever been to in my whole life.
Wow.
And so this shop, as soon as you went in, they had a Starbucks.
I'm in.
Okay. And
Which one was this?
this was
Do you recall?
it was outside of Toronto. And
I was going to say, it's got to be Toronto.
Yeah.
That's the best music.
And
Oh, my
Well,
God.
that's where we go,
I'm completely blanking. We'll have to look this
we'll
up.
have to look it up.
So
Smart.
But I went. You go in, and there's a full-on Starbucks right there. Okay, and then as you turn to the right, there is a sheet music, and print music area that is set up like a Barnes and Noble.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. And it's an amazing experience. And there are scanners like you'd see in Target that are around, so you can scan the prices on all the sheet music, and you can see more information about it.
Smart.
Then you go in, and they have a dedicated Gibson room. They have a dedicated Fender room. They have all these. They have all these lesson rooms, and they have repair areas that are clean where you can walk up to it. So let's say your kid is taking a lesson. Well, mom, drops them off, and they sit down at the Starbucks, and they have good Wi-Fi. You can sit down there on your phone, and you can drink a coffee while your kid's taking a lesson. It's an amazing, just experience. So.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, was it Cosmo?
Yes, it's Cosmo.
Yeah.
So thanks to Jason for saving the day. It's Cosmo. So
Yeah.
Cosmo is
Good times.
Yes. So I appreciate him saving
Oh, that's the
me.
store.
Yes.
Oh,
Cosmo.
sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man, I'll have to look at
Yes.
that.
Yeah, but isn't that the evolution
Yeah.
of the store, of the music store?
Sure.
Is deliver value to your consumers, to the people that come and visit you, make them feel warm and give them the good, warm, fuzzy feeling, give them a cup of joe, have them sit down and relax. It's not a high pressure environment, and have them kind of peruse and do their thing and have lessons. And we should teach people how to use their recording stuff, because then we'll sell more KRK monitors that way, right?
Absolutely.
That's also our
Yeah.
brand, right?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know KRK's Gibson, but yeah, I mean, that's
everything
what we
from
want,
headphones
right?
to cables.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's everything. They're buying it anyways. You might as well teach them to get even more. The better they're at using the tools, the more emotional it is in their life.
Exactly.
Yeah, and using the IRs in the DAWs and stuff like that, it can be extremely complicated. So if you could teach somebody
It really-
how to
yes.
implement that and put that in the recording process, you're going to create steady customers. I mean, why not? Hey, I've messed around with a Helix and a Kemper and stuff like that. You could almost even teach a beginner's course on those things, because they can be overwhelming. Those could
Yes,
be
absolutely.
access
Just the
into
basic
your customers.
idea of it. A lot of people think it's sheerly analog. Just to let folks know that are listening to this that don't know what an IR is, an impulse response. And every single cab that I record, and I just got a placement with a Target ad, so it's not fiddling around on the weekend. It's good quality audio you're getting out, and I've got a list of cabs that I use as IRs that were captured in a really high end studio in Germany off of Diesel Herbert.
Yeah.
So what an IR is?
I apologize.
That happens all the time.
That was good.
Does it?
Anyways, but yeah, these ideas can be confusing and intimidating, and so a lot of people leave it alone. But it's not just a video game quality thing. I mean, it's literally the mic placement on a particular amp in a particular room that's captured. That they've separated the signal to where it's going from guitar to whatever your amplification is, whether it's straight into an interface or through a preamp and then an interface or whatever the case is. And then the just like a regular amp, the signal goes through a cabinet, but that cabinet is a simulated IR from a high-end studio with soundproof room that I can't create in my little place in Franklin, Tennessee.
No, absolutely.
And it's so there's little basic things like that you could just basically educate and get excitement.
Well, that'll
industry.
differentiate, the type of hand holding and service that a dealer can provide.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times you walk into a brick and mortar store, and what do? They sell you on service. When you buy this guitar, we'll set it up for you for free, or we'll get X, Y, and Z. Well, when you buy that Helix or that Kemper or whatever else you're getting, you might as well sell it on, hey, and by the way, here's 30 minutes. We'll teach you how to use it.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
will teach you how to maximize what you're buying.
Well, they already have lessons programs. Why isn't this is a new instrument? A lot of people aren't really getting on board with this idea. But you already got 2,000 kids doing guitar, violin, whatever lessons. Why not have real monthly paid sit-down sessions weekly with a kid that wants to know and learn how to operate the sort of new instruments of the new age?
I mean, you could go on YouTube and do it, but I think there's something different that you could. I mean, because a lot of people don't know what to add. You don't know what you don't know.
You're never going to touch.
You're
never going to touch a one-on-one lesson physically with another person. Even guitar lessons.
Exactly.
It's you're just never going to touch it. It's it's too personal.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about 2020. And let's go around the room a little bit and talk about ideas or maybe things that you guys see happening in 2020. Zach, you want to take that?
Oh golly!
You talked about tariffs and stuff like that. But
we're of course we hope that the tariffs get taken care of, but continuing to reach out to our customers on a personal end. Now I've been a writer for Vintage Guitar Magazine, like I said, for the past 15, 20 years, 16 years I should say, and I just decided to start doing my own kind of YouTube channel. So to do my own little content that's kind of like a companion to the column that I write. The column's called Ask Zac that I've written for Vintage Guitar for all these years, and so I've kind of doing that because things are changing. And it's like, and you can't just rely on print, and so a lot of the other and so that's just a little something that I've done personally and kind of getting that going. And of course we're still plugging along on the Truetone Lounge. Funny thing about the Truetone Lounge is that we had no idea that was going to be a way to really get in with the pros in Nashville. But it's like you start interviewing these guys, and we decided from the beginning we weren't going to base it on whether they used our stuff or not, because that was one of the questions. Because you feel like, okay, why should I do an interview with somebody and talk to them about their pedal board when they're not using any of your stuff? Yeah. That's a hard hurdle, but we decided that we were going to cover, no matter what they had, we were going to talk about it. And so that gives you integrity, which creates trust. And those guys, they would leave the show and we'd say, hey, thank you for doing the show. Here's a OneSpot Pro. Yeah. And then they use it. And they decide, oh, this is great. This is quieter than my other setup, and all of a sudden they're posting pictures. So, that's been a big deal, and something that we'll continue to do. With the show is just continue to build. So we do that, and like I said, we're going to have an episode, with Bob where we tell his story and his story is very compelling. A lot of people don't know that he went bankrupt.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And so it's very compelling, and he has
inspirational.
There's a lot of lessons that he learned, and he's at the point now where he really wants to pass on a lot of that to other younger entrepreneurs and such. And I think that's
Good for him. Good for
such
him.
a valuable thing. And so I'm excited, the chance.
And
to
when
get
are you going to do that?
We're filming it this week, and then we'll release it later this month.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Very
Good luck
excited
with
about
that.
Yes.
Good luck with
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. Well, good.
So,
Let's go.
yeah.
Aljon, what do you got going on?
Well, I think 2020 is going to be a great year for Epiphone. I think the key word is Epiphone Unleashed. So you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see Kramer soaring to new heights. And
Great brand.
Yeah, great stuff. I think we've got a lot of things in the hopper with Gibson you guys are going to be interested in, as well as Steinberger. So I think, though, this NAMM focus, all eyes on, is going to be on Epiphone, and I'm super excited about it. And I think it's just more growth. I think now that Gibson and Epiphone has proven to be a lot easier to work with for other fellow retailers, I think, please, let us know. I know that a few people reached out to me personally after the show that I was on last time, and it's great. Keep it coming. I'm very accessible, and we just want to work with people. We want to let everyone know that, it is a new era, and it's one where we're extremely excited about building our relationship and helping people build their own businesses with our brands. So, I think it's going to be great for that, and I think it's exciting for our KRK brand as well, not just guitars, but for them, because they have a lot of really cool monitors. They're going back to some really cool designs and having their feet firmly planted on future technology and where they can push, especially those home producers and mixers and different things like that want to use really quality monitors as well for their recording setup. So I didn't want to leave that out either, but it's going to be a great year.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Charlton, what do you got?
Yeah, so Franklin Strap is sort of going to our old school roots, and we're going to continue what we've been doing the last year, which is expand our rep network, which is fantastic. But we're going to start making house calls again, and so we'll be in the van and hitting the road, so you may see us in your store. Also, we're expanding quite a bit export-wise. We're getting into a lot of countries that we haven't worked in before, and then I want to see in 2020 a better, or to work towards a better international sort of community in terms of intellectual property theft, which is just an epidemic, and depending on where you go, who you work with, but once you get your stuff out here in these other markets, you're always going. I mean, could you imagine being Fender and being ripped off by everybody? And Gibson. So, I mean, all of us. I mean, really. So, I think I would like to hope that it's gotten better, and I think that's going to continue to get better. And I think that's going to help Franklin and the Glider in amazing ways. So, same thing. And with the Glider, we're pushing out about 6 videos over the next 3 months, just kind of doing what we've always done with that. There's only so many ways to show that, and that's going to continue to be successful. And I started a music publishing company on the side, so I think that's going to grow quite a bit. And working with PreSonus on some things coming up, which will be really cool. But I'm super excited about hitting the road and seeing our dealers again. Been a few years off, so I'm really excited to shake some hands and turn some product.
Yeah, man, very cool. 2020 is going to be a big year.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming in. You guys are good friends.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job. Happy to see you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Happy for the new year.
Absolutely.
Happy for all the excitement that's in the air for all of us.
I want to say congratulations to y'all. I want to say congratulations
to
you and
absolutely,
to Jason
really.
here. Excited for new things with MIRC also.
Thank you.
So
It's going to be a big year here as well.
I couldn't be more
We got
excited.
a lot
for you
going
guys.
on. Yeah. It's going to be a great year. Great year. Appreciate you guys.
All right, guys.
We'll do it
you.
again.
Yeah.
Cheers.
The Music Retail Show.